Modric has a new club. The legend isn't hanging up his boots just yet. Barcelona are signing a fresh goalkeeper, and Conte is already on Juventus' doorstep. Manchester United are about to announce a top striker, while Leão is packing his bags in Milan. As always, we're asking for 450 likes. Yes, we're so consistent we don't even change the target. They say stability is a sign of greatness, or maybe just laziness. Either way, here are the juiciest rumours for you. Luka Modric, a true legend and the ultimate symbol of Real Madrid, is finally saying goodbye to the club after an incredible 13 years. The man's collected more trophies than most of us have ever collected likes in our lives, and now, just like that, he's a free agent. Take him or leave him. The Spanish press is already buzzing that the Saudi Arabian sheikhs have their eyes on Modric, but then again, those guys seem to have their eyes on every big name going, so nothing surprising there. The real movers and shakers, though, are in MLS. Enter David Beckham, who's been chasing Modric with a contract since last year and, by all accounts, is determined to finally bring the Croatian maestro to sunny Miami to link up with Messi. So what's on offer? Around $2.5 million a year. Okay, that's not Saudi-level billions, but honestly, money probably isn't Modric's main motivation at this point. What really matters is the 2026 World Cup. Luka clearly wants to stay in top shape for one last dance on the world's biggest stage. And to do that, he needs to settle in the US, soak up the local football culture, and get used to the MLS rhythm. And let's be real, MLS is the perfect landing spot. The schedule's lighter, the weather's warmer, and all his superstar buddies are right there. But wait, there's one more twist. Simone Inzaghi and Inter Milan are also in the hunt. They want Modric for one final European adventure, a farewell tour in Serie A. Not a bad option, right? So, what do you think? Will Modric head to America for a superstar reunion with Beckham and Messi? Or does he have one more year left in him at the top level in Europe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where would you like to see Luka play next? Here's what's really going down in Manchester. No fog, just facts. United have started a mini clear-out, and 3 players got caught in the crossfire. It's official. Lindelof, Evans and Eriksen are no longer Manchester United players. Honestly, it's a logical move. Let's be real, none of them were indispensable, none could save a season or even reliably cover for others' mistakes. The wage bill just breathed a sigh of relief. As for those guys, I doubt they'll be unemployed for long. Experienced players with a name always find a new club. But here's the thing. This is just the beginning of the clear-out. I have a feeling this firing wave is just starting, and it's about to get a lot more interesting. United are clearly clearing the decks for new transfers. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The whole football world is waiting to see what happens with Bruno Fernandes. After this train wreck of a season, the rumours about his departure are burning hotter than ever. The club's all over the place, and the question now is, can Amorim keep hold of his captain, or are we in for another blockbuster saga? Where will Bruno go? For United, losing a leader like that would be a disaster, especially after finishing, get this, 15th. For the Red Devils, that's not just rock bottom. That's a neon sign screaming total rebuild needed from the locker room to the boardroom. And for Bruno himself? Honestly, it's hard to imagine a top-level player sticking around to endure this circus. But hey, football loves a surprise. On the transfer front, the media's buzzing that United have already agreed terms with Matheus Cunha from Wolves. And we're not talking pocket change. The fee is close to £63 million, even though market value puts him more at £55 million. But here's the clever bit. They're structuring the payments in installments. So United will pay the £63 million in parts, not all at once. For today's United, that's actually a smart move. Financial fair play isn't going away, and if you want to rebuild the squad without blowing up the budget, these kinds of deals are a must. And for Amorim, this is his chance, not just one big signing, but a real squad revamp, especially since more major sales could be on the way. Everyone expects Rashford, Antony or Sancho to be out the door soon. Garnacho too could be sold, and for PSR, that's a goldmine. Don't forget about the attack. 7 goals combined from Højlund and Xerxes. That's not even mid-table quality, let alone a club that just a couple of years ago was dreaming about trophies. Any fan will tell you, without a proper striker and some creative reinforcements, next season will be another battle for survival, not a chase for top 4. Amorim's got ideas, but right now, United feels less like a rebuild and more like a forced emergency renovation after a flood. And here's the kicker, the boards decided to keep Amorim for a full season. Probation period? He's already flunked it, but hey, the board knows best, right? Let's see what goals they set for him next. Question for you, would you keep Amorim? Or does United need a real disciplinarian to finally stop being the league's punchline? Either way, Manchester is in for a wild summer, and the moment the next transfer bombshell drops, I'll break it all down for you. If you're still watching my videos after United crashed to 15th, your mental strength is incredible, and your loyalty even more so. So why not channel that superhuman perseverance and hit subscribe? Watching without subscribing is like being a United fan. You know it's gonna hurt, but you still stick around. Come on, support the channel with a like and a comment. United's entering a new era, but which players, which coach, and what future? We'll find out soon. Looks like Barça is once again trying to stay ahead of the game, setting up a deal that already feels like an investment in their own peace of mind for years to come. Can you imagine? The club is now at the stage of a principal agreement for the transfer of Joan Garcia from Espanyol. And this isn't just some random name, this is a keeper who's been on the radar of Premier League giants. But it seems like Garcia is staying in La Liga, and guess with whom? With the neighbours he could once only dream of beating. Barca's ready to splash the cash and trigger his release clause, 25 million euros, which is a huge statement for such a young goalkeeper. And that's not even the ceiling. If Luis de la Fuente calls him up to the national team, the price shoots up to 30 million. Seriously, when a keeper from Espanyol goes for that kind of money, you know the Spanish market plays by its own rules. Then again, for top keepers, these fees are basically the new normal. The only question, is Garcia really worth the hype? Or is he just another future Casillas who'll get lost in the shuffle? Here's the irony. Barça isn't just moving fast for another talent, they're making moves because even they don't know who'll be their number 1 next season. Ter Stegen is already 33, has had 3 operations on the same knee, and at this point is a walking question mark. Will he recover, or is he headed back to the injury list? His contract runs through 2028, and if Barça ever has to part ways, they'll probably have to pay him to leave. What a situation, right? Sit around second-guessing or go ahead and secure the future now. And what about Szczesny? He's 35, doesn't know himself if he wants to keep playing or retire with style. Sure, Polish reliability is a thing, but how long is that really going to last? Maybe a season, 2 tops? That's why Barça wants to lock down Garcia right now, before some Premier League big boys swoop in. But as always, there's a classic Barcelona twist: the salary cap. La Liga's financial rules are tight. So tight that after signing Garcia, they're already considering sending him straight out on loan for a season. Betis and Valencia are rubbing their hands, hoping they can snap him up for a year. And Garcia? From what it sounds like, he just wants to play, not rot on the bench waiting for a handout from Ter Stegen. So here's the real question. Is Barça actually building a foundation for the future or just plugging a hole? Knowing this club, I wouldn't be shocked if tomorrow's headline reads, Ter Stegen extends to 2030. But if Garcia does move to Camp Nou and gets his shot, it could be the dawn of a whole new era for Barca's number 1. Hansi Flick's backing is key here. It's clear the German coach isn't about to gamble on a keeper's health. So what do you think? Is the risk worth it, or is Barca just repeating its own mistakes with young stars and long contracts? Juventus are seriously trying to bring Antonio Conte back. And this isn't just some nostalgia trip, this is a full-blown reset. All the Italian insiders are practically sketching Conte back in black and white already. Can you feel that vibe? The guy just rocked up at Napoli, pulled off a Scudetto almost instantly, and now he's packing his bags again. And this isn't just some sketchy rumor. Napoli's president, De Laurentiis, pretty much confirmed it. If Conte wants to leave, he can go tomorrow. Apparently, that title win didn't fix their relationship. If anything, things between Conte and the Napoli boss were so tense that even a trophy wasn't enough to patch things up. All season long, Italian newspapers were full of passive-aggressive digs from both camps, manager and president. Now, it's official. They're parting ways, and get this, no compensation. Gentleman's agreement, or is there more to the story? Meanwhile, Juve are sitting back, rubbing their hands. They need a true leader, someone who doesn't just wave his arms on the touchline, but grabs the squad with an iron fist. There's a new management in Turin, none of that old guard drama that made Conte slam the door last time. Now it's total control, tactics, staff, transfers, Antonio gets to call the shots. Juventus are basically handing him the club on a silver platter, in his own style. And remember, Conte is a control freak. Wherever he's been, be it the national team, Inter or Chelsea, the moment someone meddles, boom, conflict. He's the director who doesn't want any screenwriters. And here's a fun fact. He's the first coach in history to win the Scudetto with 3 different clubs, plus a Premier League title with Chelsea. That's why Juve are doing the smart thing, not risking it with some experiment, but bringing back the one guy who can turn them into the old lady again, not just another top 5 side. On the flip side, after parting ways with Conte, rumor has it Napoli are looking at Allegri? Seriously? Allegri ball is all about score 1, park the bus and pray you don't concede. Does anyone really think that's the kind of football that wins big trophies nowadays? Napoli just tasted glory and now they're going back to pure pragmatism. Time will tell. But if Conte really does make his return to Juve before the Club World Cup, get ready for a whole new show. Who would you want to see join Conte's new team? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Bayern Munich are back on the hunt, and this time they're not after some random name, but none other than Rafael Leão himself. Yes, the same Portuguese winger who's been terrorizing Serie A, defenses with those blistering runs down the left. Now it looks like AC Milan might actually be willing to let their main weapon go, if someone shows up with a seriously big bag of cash. No surprise Bayern have kicked things into gear. With Florian Wirtz almost certainly heading to Liverpool and Bayern's next big thing dreams up in smoke, the focus in Munich has shifted hard to Leão. They need a guy who doesn't just run the wing, but actually drags the team forward, and Leão is tailor-made for that job. But you know what? It's never that simple. The competition is already circling. Atletico Madrid, they're in the mix, but honestly, their financial muscle and project aren't quite on Bayern's level. And then there's Arsenal, lurking as a wild card. The Gunners and their obsession with left-wingers this summer has basically become a meme, but Arteta is reportedly serious. He wants an X-factor, because Arsenal's left side has looked pretty stale and predictable lately. But here's the real question. Would Arsenal actually splash that kind of cash? Leão's release clause is a jaw-dropping 175 million euros. That's a ton, but when you look at his numbers, 25 goal contributions this season, even with all of Milan's issues, that's real quality. Leão's under contract until 2028, and Milan are clinging to him like he's their last ticket to staying elite. But you get the sense Rafa himself is feeling restless. The season didn't exactly go to plan, and maybe it's time for a fresh start. Maybe the Premier League is exactly the breath of fresh air he needs. For Bayern, he's the chance to finally revive their left flank after missing out on Wirtz. For Arsenal, he could be that last piece Arteta's been missing, pure creativity and elite-level speed. Atletico? Well, they're probably just hoping for a miracle at this point. So here's the big question. Which one of these giants will blink first and slap a monster offer on the table to convince Milan to let go of one of their crown jewels? Or maybe Leão himself decides to push for that big move and take his game to a new level. Where do you think he'd shine brightest? Bayern's tactical system, Arsenal's dynamic attack under Arteta, or could Atletico pull off the surprise and unlock something new? And while you're thinking about where Leão might finally explode, don't forget about your own breakthrough moment by hitting that subscribe button. Seriously, there's about 80% of you watching but not subscribing. What is this? A 175 million euro release clause on a click? Don't be a free agent. Join the squad. It's free. Or am I supposed to believe you're all just scouts from the competition? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'm off to check if Arsenal have got another bag of cash hidden somewhere for the summer window. Arsenal have decided to crash the party in the race for Morgan Gibbs-White. You know, the same Gibbs-White who's basically been dragging Nottingham Forest on his back all season. Everyone thought Man City were already lining up a move, with Pep looking for new blood to eventually replace De Bruyne. But out of nowhere, Arteta jumps in, bags of cash at the ready, and now he wants a slice of the action too. Just think about how much this guy's worth right now. Forest clearly aren't messing around. If they're going to lose him, it's only for a massive payday. We're talking close to £100 million. And that's for a player who just a couple of years ago was grinding it out for Wolves and only really exploded after joining Forest. But look at his progress. Gibbs-White has turned into one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League. He's earned an England call-up, doesn't shy away from taking on the big clubs, and honestly, he can play anywhere up front, as a number 10, out wide, you name it. No wonder City want him. For Guardiola, He's the perfect fit. Technical, great dribbler, creative, and at that sweet spot, age-wise, experienced, but still has his best years ahead. But here's the twist. Arsenal desperately need fresh ideas in midfield. Odegaard can't carry the creative load all season on his own, let's be real. GIBBS-WHITE wouldn't just be a backup, he could genuinely become the new engine in the middle, especially if Arteta decides to shake up their attacking setup. And let's not forget, Arsenal now have a new sporting director and a transfer budget of nearly £300 million. They're clearly ready to splash the cash, especially if a signing like this could finally get them back to the top of the Premier League. And there's the Champions League factor. Both City and Arsenal can offer GIBBS-WHITE football at the very highest level, so staying at Forest almost feels like standing still at this point. But here's the big question. Does Morgan himself actually want to leave? This is one of those classic dilemmas. Does he take the next big step or risk becoming just another squad player at a super club? And what will Forest do? Try to keep their star man or cash in and reinvest? So what do you think? Where are we going to see GIBBS-WHITE next season? Rocking City's blue and gold, Arsenal's red and white, or could he surprise everyone and stay to build his legacy at Forest? Manchester United are back, surfing the transfer wave, and this time they've got Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford on the hook. And let's be clear, this isn't just another winger. This guy's the engine of the bees. We're talking 20 goals and 7 assists in a season. For Brentford, the whole team pretty much ran through him, and now there's a real buzz around his future. His contract runs until 2026, so Brentford aren't about to let their Cameroonian star go for peanuts. The reported price tag? Around £50 million. Honestly, on today's market, you can barely buy a decent bench warmer for that kind of cash. So this could actually be a smart deal for United, unless Newcastle jumps in and turns it into a classic British bidding war. Yep, the Magpies are watching quietly in the background, and if they step in, it could all come down to whose wallet's bigger. The big question, who'll slap the cash on the table first and who'll be left empty-handed? Amorim, who, by all accounts, is really looking to shake things up at United this summer, wants fresh legs out wide, and Mbeumo is at the top of his list. He brings pace, dribbling, and most importantly, versatility. Right wing, left wing, behind the striker, or even up front himself. Wherever you need him, he delivers. That's exactly the kind of player clubs want these days if they're trying to stay flexible and not get stuck in one predictable setup. Honestly, Mbeumo could inject new life into United's attack. Under Amorim, who loves to switch tactics mid-game, a guy this adaptable is gold. And let's not forget, over the past 2 seasons, Mbeumo has shown he doesn't care about pressure or expectations. He just gets the job done, week in, week out. But here's the catch. Is he really worth £50 million? Even by Premier League standards, that's a huge sum. Brentford definitely aren't eager to let him go, so it won't be easy. So what do you guys think? Is Mbeumo a good fit? Can you see him starting for United? Or is this just another hype transfer for the sake of keeping fans interested? United have made some flashy signings in recent years, but let's be honest, not all of them have lived up to the buzz. Will this one finally pay off? Or is it going to be another almost story? One thing's for sure, it's going to be a wild summer. And if Mbeumo really does make the move to Old Trafford, it could turn out to be one of the most intriguing and surprising deals of the whole window. Let's see who blinks first, and whether Mbeumo becomes the next star to truly shine after switching clubs.